Hi everybody, so I am in the middle of way too many series, and since I have 2 to 3 weeks off from uni right now, I thought let's work on finishing some of them. Starting out with Throne of Glass. I'm gonna try and get the big one out of the way because I really want to start Crescent City and I feel like I need to read these first. So let's kind of recap really quick because I did read a few of them already. First book, I gave this one 4 stars. I started with the basic Throne of Glass, like the first book, not with Assassin's Blade, and I really liked this way, and I think this is a really nice introduction. There are trials, there are some kind of stereotypical things, but it's also a very, I guess, short introduction as opposed to the longer books at the end, and I thought this did a really good job of introducing it, and I was not immediately hooked, but I thought it was interesting, so I kept on reading. Then we got to Crown of Midnight, 5 stars. Loved this one so much. The end, oh my god, I was hooked and I could not wait to find out where it's going. So this for me was actually the best book of the series so far. And then as I mentioned, I ended up reading Assassin's Blade 3rd, which I think is perfect because you get to know the characters in book 1 and 2. You kind of build a connection to them. You don't know everything about them yet, and this is the backstory, and I think this was so good. I think this is the best way to do it. It's just 5 kind of shorter stories, so it's not an actual plot, the whole book, but I really liked getting to know the backstory to the characters that I already knew. Not loved, but that I knew. Then I read Heir of Fire. This one was my least favorite so far. I gave this 3 stars just because it was a tiny bit boring as opposed to Crown of Midnight, because things went down in Crown of Midnight and this was kind of a bit more chill. Also, it's the first one that's kind of a little bit longer, and that leads me to Queen of Shadows. This is the book I'm currently reading. I am pretty much exactly 50% through. I like this very much so far. For the past couple of chapters I've been giggling, and I think this series is not a series to giggle about. So I think it's about to go down and things are about to happen. So I think this is the perfect timing to film myself reading this. This has potential to be a 5-star book depending on what happens next. So yeah, we are at the 5th book, and then after this is Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, I think, and those two are a tandem read, and I'm gonna try my best to actually do the tandem read. There are a couple of PDFs. I'll link the one that I end up using somewhere, because those 2 books apparently are from 2 different POVs, but they take place at the exact same time. You either read one book completed and then jump back in time, or you just read both of them at the same time. And I'm gonna try and keep this spoiler free. If there is any spoilers, I'm gonna put a warning before. I don't have any audio subscriptions right now, so I'm actually gonna be physically reading this book. I also don't have these on Kindle, so if I go on little solo reading dates, I'm gonna have to bring these big ones with me. This is the smallest one out of the ones that I still have left. But yeah, enough rambling. Let's get into Queen of Shadows. It's been 2 days since I last read in this book, and I've read half a page probably, and I didn't know that I stopped in the middle of it actually starting to go down, which is perfect because that second paragraph on this page, there's also multiple POVs, and I think the witch's POV is my favorite because I have a feeling that they're gonna be really important, and also they're absolutely not that like stereotypical, oh I'm so weak, oh no, they are not weak. Tell me why the book does this. What is that? And it's like curved upwards. I hate it. Anyways, I am on page 422, so I made pretty good progress. This is what we have left, and I am now in part 2, Queen of Light I think it was called. So much happening, and I was talking to my sister about this earlier today. I love when in like series like Game of Thrones there's so many POVs and at some point they start connecting, and I think we are about to connect POVs in here, and I'm so excited because one of them is like my favorite, and then the other one is also very interesting. Trying not to give anything away, but I'm so excited. Obviously I guess this wouldn't be a spoiler because it's inevitable that at some point all of our POVs are gonna end up together. Not together, but like all of the people are gonna be in the same place. And that last chapter that I read was, or actually the second to last chapter, so good, where they made like their big discovery. Love it so much. I'm so, well, obviously no, it's not like positive love it, I'm just like yeah, we're getting on. They are making discoveries, we're progressing in the plot, we are finally about to get somewhere. But this book, it's not like, oh, finally something's happening. There's actually been, it's been kind of not action-packed, but kind of. What I'm trying to say is I really like this book so far. I don't think I'm gonna finish it tonight because then I would have to stay up really late, but I'm definitely gonna be able to finish it tomorrow, which means that we could get started on a big tandem read tomorrow. But anyways, I have to get ready to go to Pilates and I'll see you afterwards. I have been procrastinating starting reading today. I don't really know why. I did get to page 450-ish last night, so this is the only little thing that we have left. It is about 200 pages and I should be able to read about 100 or 150 until my dad picks me up. So we are gonna finish this today. I am on page 528 and this chapter, chapter 65, was the epitome of the calm before the storm. Everybody's preparing that it's again about to go down. It's been going down a few times now and I think we are, I mean, there's only like this much left and I think we are about to get to the final it going down. I'm really hoping that all of the plans are gonna work out, and I have a feeling that there's gonna be somebody or something, somebody probably, kind of unexpectedly showing up to, if they're well, here's my theory. I'm gonna try and phrase this very vaguely so you can't really tell what I mean. They obviously have a plan and I think most of it is gonna go like good, but I think there's gonna be something that goes wrong, and I think there's gonna be somebody or something, but probably somebody unexpectedly showing up and cutting in right at the like last second and saving their plan, them, whatever they're trying to do. I just finished Queen of Shadows, 5 stars. I love this book so much. There were so many things happening, so many emotions, so many ups and downs, so many things I've highlighted. I stopped tabbing them, I was just underlining with my pencil. Such a good book. The vibe that it gave me, oh my gosh. I'm so excited what the next 3 books are gonna bring, because I think Heir of Fire was kind of the middle book syndrome type book, and if this one was so good, I'm thinking it's only gonna get better towards the end. So very interested to see what happens. But yeah, finally we can move on from this and we can now start the tandem read. I don't know if you can tell in this light, but the color of the purple book is just the most beautiful book color I have ever seen. Not to spoil anything, but it is time for a new ambience, I think. I think the Assassin's Keep bedroom is a little bit outdated at this point, and that's all the spoilers you're gonna get. I've also made it a goal to kind of write out more book reviews, especially on paper where you have so many things that you can kind of click on and rate, I guess. So the review for this book, it's very short, but it's my first ever review. The only other time I've written a review was when I wrote DNF onto a 2-star review on Goodreads. So yeah, this is my first official review, I guess. My favorite book in the series so far. I was truly immersed in the story and there was so much going on. I'm very excited to keep reading. I know it's very short, but I like saying more on here, like talking about the book and not writing a whole like super long ass review, because nobody ever reads those. Good morning everybody. I didn't actually end up starting the tandem read yesterday because I was working on my crochet projects and I really need to make moves there because I kind of want those projects to be done and out of my way so I can start fun little new projects again. But I did find the PDF that I want to use. It's just the first one that comes up by Jenna Clark, I think, and it just has both of them color coded, all of the chapters that you need to read in each of the books. I know that there are bookmarks with this information on Etsy, but I didn't think of that earlier and now I feel like it's kind of too late. So we're gonna start out with chapter 1 through 5 of Empire of Storms. I'm getting goosebumps. So not even chapter 1, I guess this is like kind of the introduction. Oh my god, I have a bad feeling about these books. I mean, I'm only one chapter in, but I think it's gonna be really difficult for me to read, but like difficult in a good way, because I want to know what happens, but also I think there's gonna be stuff going down. So chapter 1, I'm just gonna probably cross off all of them from my little list. So Empire of Storms and Nightfall, done. And now let's get to the official chapter 1. I finished chapter 1 through 5 of Empire of Storms, which means now it's time for chapter 1 of Tower of Dawn. It's just one chapter of this and then 3 more chapters of this. It is a little bit confusing, but my little printout PDF helps. So we're gonna get started on this book right now. And I'm very interested to see which characters are gonna be the main cast of this book, because so far most of the people have been in Empire of Storms. So we'll see about that. I keep going back and forth from the places, like from the writing from the chapters to the map whenever they mention places, because even though it is like book 5 or 6, I still don't have everything in my mind. Let's see. I think I have the Arivia / Northern Continent kind of down, so I need to now figure out these places. The names are so dramatic. The God City. Which one is that probably gonna be? Probably the biggest one. So I'm gonna get into chapter 1 of this. So far, oh, see, now I know who it is about. I'm not gonna say anything, but I think it's gonna be interesting. I guess I figured that this person was gonna be part of the big plot again, but I kind of figured that this person was gonna be with the other people, and then somebody in the purple book was gonna be in here. But I guess it makes sense, because I guess this is just based off my like thoughts. I think that the everything that happens in this book probably doesn't involve the people in the other book, because the people within one book are probably gonna meet again, I guess. I don't really know. It is a little bit confusing because there's a lot of characters, a lot of POVs. We have 2 books with, well, there's like I think 2 or 3 POVs in here. Probably gonna be more than 1 in here as well. So we have quite a few different POVs, but I'm so excited, and this is the most complex series I've ever read. And so now, once I finish this, I feel like I'm kind of equipped to get into other more complicated series like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones maybe. But I want to finish the books that I have first. See, it's starting again. Anyways, we're gonna start reading this book now. Chapter 1 is completed. I need to cross it off from my little PDF sheet so I always know where I'm at. It's really interesting getting to see other continents, because especially with ACOTAR, I was wondering, like, because it is the map, obviously it has a continent and then water around it, but what else is happening? Like, what's the rest of the world? Is it just a planet with one continent on it, or is there something else? I don't know, but here we get to see at least one other continent. Maybe there's gonna be more, I don't know. But now we are switching back to chapter 6, 7, 8 of Empire of Storms. It feels like a big project reading these books, and I think if I would have thought about this beforehand, I think especially the last 3 books would definitely be great Kindle books, because they are kind of heavy, and then if you have to switch them around all the time. And I still have Kingdom of Ash, which is, I want to say double this size, maybe a little bit less, and I got the hardcovers, which doesn't really help. So, but yeah, we're gonna keep on reading. What the fuck did Sarah J. Maas put into these books? I have been listening to the audiobooks of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn for the past 2 days, I think. I have gone through it. I've gone through all of the emotions. I've had literal tears in my eyes twice. I think it was one time here and one time here. I don't really remember, because it's just kind of a blur. I think these, I mean, obviously it would be a huge book, but they could be one book. It would be a lot of POVs, but it could work. I love the tandem read. This might be my favorite book of all time. I was just talking to my sister. I told her that I thought the Orange ACOTAR book, like the last one, is probably gonna be like my favorite book of all time. Scratch that. This has taken over. Oh my god. for reference, I am around page 350-ish. The things that just happened, all of the things, I don't think I will ever recover. And the problem is, I'm not even, like, I think I'm about halfway, like 60% done. And it's probably gonna get worse. And there's a whole nother book. What am I gonna do? Hi everybody, it's been a while. It took me 5 weeks to almost complete the tandem read. I am done with Empire of Storms. I got done 2 days ago and I will just have a few chapters of Tower of Dawn left. I'm gonna review them together because now they are kind of one book in my brain, so we're gonna do that after I'm done with this one. I have only like this much left, so we're gonna finish reading Tower of Dawn right now. What I can say so far is I prefer Empire of Storms over this one. Sorry if it's kind of loud, but I really wanted to sit outside and read today because it's so nice and I've missed the sunshine. But yeah, we're gonna finish this together and then I'll dump all of my thoughts. That was a roller coaster of emotions, the last 2-3 chapters. I was going through it, as you saw. Okay, so let's rate these books. Empire of Storms, 5 stars. So much happening, so many unseen plot twists, and I truly don't even know what I can say about this book. So it will be spoiler free, so just know I love this. I'm not really sure which one my favorite of the series is so far, but this one is very, very high up there. Throne of Glass is kind of a long series with about 7 or 8 books, but it's so worth it to kind of get through the first books and go through all of this world building to get to these books because it's just, they're both so good. So 5 stars as I mentioned. And then Tower of Dawn, oh my god, as you saw, I just went through it. I was gonna say that this was a little bit slower than Empire of Storms, which is true because here we're on a different continent, so we obviously need to do a little bit of world building there first, but it was so worth it because I loved seeing a new continent and new people and new creatures, whatever you want to call them. The Torah, the tower on here, such an interesting concept, or such an interesting place to be as a reader. And the end, it's gonna be a 5-star book for me as well. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of a spoiler warning because I'm gonna talk about the people involved in this book and I'm not sure if that's a spoiler or not, so if you want to be sure, just skip to whatever time I'll put on the screen. Nesryn is one of my favorite characters, I think. We don't know that much about her yet, but especially her ending in this book had me so emotional, and she is such an interesting character with such an interesting backstory, and I just loved everything that happened to her in this book. Obviously not positively loved it again, but it was just so interesting, and seeing her character kind of grow and getting to know her more was so interesting. Chaol is honestly still not my favorite character. I think he is a little bit annoying. Things always happen to him, but like they're not really that bad, but kind of, but then they're kind of okay again, and I don't really know if I like it or not. I liked all of the other characters in this book. He's just not really my favorite person overall, but I still loved this book so much, which means that now I'm gonna have to start Kingdom of Ash. I was gonna take a little bit of a fantasy reading break, especially Throne of Glass reading break, because it just took me such a long time to do the tandem read. It is a little bit complicated with switching back and forth on the books and everything, and kind of I read a little bit slower because it's a little bit hard to keep track of all the different events going on and all of the different POVs and places and everything. But overall I think the tandem read is definitely worth it, even though it takes a little bit of time. But now with the endings of both these books, how can I not keep reading? Also, it's sunny outside, so I'm gonna put these 2 books in my bookshelf and get Kingdom of Ash, and then we're gonna go sit outside and read again. What the fuck is this? Why is this in my book? This book was so expensive, but I bought it such a long time ago I can't return it. But what is this? Why is it there? Good morning, everyone. 70% update. I also have a little mic now because it's really windy, so I thought I would try this and see if it makes the audio better. So I am this far into the book. This is 70%. And I kind of want it to be over. I switched to Kindle because the book that I have, that edition, is way too heavy and horrible to hold. And I don't like it. And unfortunately, that's kind of the same feeling that I have about the book. I'm kind of frustrated with it because 980 pages about planning a war is just too much for me. I thought it was gonna be, I guess the whole book is a little bit brutal, but that's not what's bothering me. So the book so far is very elongated, I would say. I think maybe 600 pages would have been enough, and I'm already past 600 pages, and I'm like, please, let's just get to the end. I just want this to be over. And I'm so sad because I really liked the other books, especially the like in the middle, they're like a little bit longer ones, but not like insanely long, because this is just too long. So I am quite frustrated with the book, unfortunately. I still think that I'm gonna rate it like medium to high, but I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star because I think this book is what's putting me into a reading slump. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't been reading much this year, and it's because this book frustrates me so much. But I want to finish it before reading other books, but that's impossible because I can't read basically 5 books in one and not read anything else. So this is a little 70% rant, I guess. I'm hoping that it's gonna pick up a little bit and we are getting to, I guess, the closing of some of the POVs or scenes or issues or whatever. I'm hoping, because I didn't see this series taking this turn. I thought the last book was going to be so good because I've seen so many videos of people like crying because it's so good. I don't know. I don't know if anything bad is going to happen in the last 30%. So far, it's been pretty boring, to be honest. For having this many pages, not a lot has happened. There were a few little revelations, but I don't know. I guess there was just like one big one. And that was, well, something had to have happened, so it makes sense that there was at least one big revelation. But yeah, so far I'm a little bit frustrated with the book, but I've been trying to read like 5% every couple of days, and 5% are 100 pages, so that's pretty good, I would say. Or now 5% is 60 pages, but that's still an hour of reading every couple of days and getting nowhere near the finish line. But yeah, so that's my 70% update. I am gonna go into town right now to celebrate finishing third class, Kingdom of Ash. I have about an hour left to read, so we're gonna read that at the cafe, enjoy my first day in freedom of uni. Not really, because I still have one more exam in like a month, but for now, I'm free. So let's go. I just finished Kingdom of Ash. Well, I finished it like an hour ago. That bus ride home, like being in a normal world setting in a bus after reading that book, was very strange. I was just dissociating the whole time, pretty much. To my rating, I am gonna rate Kingdom of Ash 3.5 stars. It's still pretty good, but it was just way too dragged out for me, and as I mentioned in my little rant, I feel like it could have been shorter and that would have been more interesting. But I did post a TikTok about not really getting along in the book, and somebody commented that you have to kind of have a different perspective on the book. It's not a grand finale, what I was thinking. It's more of a world building after all of the books before. And with that mindset, like if I would have started the book with that mindset, I think I would have liked it maybe a little bit better, because I do tend to like world building in fantasy series, like in the beginning, but I didn't expect it to be at the end. To sum up, I liked the book, but it was just too long. It did have me quite emotional. I think, okay, little spoiler warning. The thing that had me the most emotional was the end of the witches timeline, I guess. Well, not the end, but the end of the 13, pretty much. So that was a little bit rough, because I did not see that coming at all, and I was like, No. Spoiler warning. And my favorite characters, I think, were the witches, Manon in particular, because you don't get to see or hear that much of the other ones. I also really liked Astrid, the second in command witch, I think, and I also really like Elite. I actually don't really like Aelin that much, just because she's always plotting something but not telling me. If I read a book, I want to know things. Obviously, I do want to be surprised, but I don't want there to be like 15,000 plans that I don't know about. I would like to know at least a few of them. Also really liked Irene. I guess Rowan, but Aelin and Rowan are kind of like Farah and Rhysand. They're just a little bit too much for me. I do like them, don't get me wrong, but I did also like that the book, or the whole series I guess, wasn't super like romance heavy and like spice heavy. I did like that it had more of a plot than ACOTAR, for example. But yeah, overall there were just so many characters. I'm sure I'm missing some. I also really like Dorian. I don't like Chaol. There's so many characters, I can't list everybody, but overall I really liked the series. I'll put my ratings overall here again. It was definitely fun is the wrong word, but I did like reading series, so I guess I did have fun, but it's not a fun book series, so we need to make that clear. So Throne of Glass is finished, which means it is the perfect time to start my, I guess, summer TBR, because by October I'm gonna be in uni working my ass off again. So I'm gonna have 3 months to read all of my books. I'm actually gonna show you, because I did make a little wheel. So this, you probably can't tell what's on it, but all of these are the books that are on my TBR right now that I have at home. And over the next 3 months, I'm probably gonna spin this wheel every other day, every third day, and we're gonna read a book together, and I'm gonna make so many videos, you're gonna be sick of me. But I wanna read all of these books. And now that I kind of have a clean slate with uni done and Throne of Glass done, I cannot wait to get to all of my other books. So thank you so much for watching this video. I don't even remember when it started, so thanks for being on this journey with me, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.